Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching from Nigeria, good morning if you are watching from America. Good evening if you are watching from the Far East, Australia, and where have you, where we have all our customers all over the world. People who are interested in literacy, in reading. Once again, my name is Engineer Anthony Akpokene, a petroleum engineer turned into a bookseller. You will be laughing why that is so. In my previous episode, I have given you a little bit of my history. My parents are teachers. My father is a teacher. My mother is a teacher. My grandfather is a teacher. My great-grandfather is a teacher. So I come from a family of teachers. So it's book that we read. However, like I said, always say that knowledge is the stepping stone to emancipation. We have decided to be introducing so many books. We are taking them one after the other. Last time we came in your way, we introduced Wole Soyinka's book, You Must Set Forth at Dawn. And I made reference to this book I'm going to introduce today, which is a product of heavy research and heavy study. It took so many man-hours, over 1 million man-hours of study to come out with this book. The title of the book is Environmental Assessment of Ogoniland. Environmental Assessment of Ogoniland. It is written by United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. Pollution in the Niger Delta is a very common thing. Everywhere oil is drilled for, everywhere oil there's prospect for oil and for gas, is pollution all over the place. There is nowhere in Niger Delta where you will not see pollution. And it is worse in the creeks of the Niger Delta. Like I told you before, I've walked all over the creeks. I walked in Pologbene, I walked in Tologbene, I walked in Sagbama, I walked in Iseni, I've walked in Ugeli West, I've walked in Ugeli East, I've walked in Olomoro, I've walked in Otumara, I've walked in Oben near Benin. Everywhere I have walked as a young man of 23 years old, drilling for oil, drilling for gas all over the place. So if we are talking about pollution and environmental degradation as a result of prospecting for oil, I know what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. We didn't know, as a young engineer, when we were working in the swamp, in Otumara, for example, or in Odidi, for example, we were drilling wells, and what were we doing? There are some chemicals like spearcine, like caustic soda. We used to mix the mud that we use as a drilling fluid. We'll pump the drilling fluid into the hole, because as you drill, what happens? As you drill the well, the cuttings you get out of it has to come out. So this mud, this drill fluid, with all the chemicals that is used to inhibit the soil so that it does not cave on you, brings out these cuttings out of the hole. And what did we do with these cuttings? As they came out of the hole, we just dump everything into the water. And these chemicals are acidic, they are carcinogenic. So what happens? After some days, you begin to see fish floating on the water, because the rivers have become acidic and polluted. Cannot do it. So I didn't even know what we were doing that time. We thought it was normal. Until some years later, I went for a training in Holland. And I went to a rig. And I saw that these chemicals that came out from the well, they were not being dumped into the river. They were channeling there somewhere, and they will treat them, incinerate them, wash this thing away, and there's a way where they dump them, not in their river. In Holland, if you go, their rivers are clean, yet they are producing oil. So I started asking questions. What is the meaning? Why is it in Nigeria is different? I now discovered that our regulation agency, GPRO, and the whole apparatus, they were part of the problem. I now studied and discovered that there are rules that have been put in place. But because our regulation agencies are not taking things seriously, what happens? Whenever rules and laws are not effected, people misbehave, no matter how good you are. That's why, for example, Oyibo man will come from his country, come to Nigeria and break traffic lights. Nothing will happen. Go to abroad now. He will go to jail. So immediately they cross to this their Heathrow or wherever they are going to, they begin to behave. So that is the problem. We will address that some other time. For today, we are talking of environmental assessment of Ogoniland. I'll just go through a few things here to introduce this book. Like I said, it's a multi-million naira project which President Goodluck Jonathan instituted. Because he's an academic man. He has PhD. And he did not just want to do anything for political reasons. He wanted to base his work, base his intervention on proper study. And so that there will not be any political underlings, he decided to use a neutral body, the United Nations. They gave this study and came up with this book. And there are some findings already from this book, which I want to just show to us. You know, there is a summary. I'll just go through the highlights of the book. There's an introduction where it talks about Nigeria and the Niger Delta situation, also a historical presentation. There is also the background to environmental degradation in Ogoniland. There is objective scopes and methodologies used in this book. There is assessment of contaminated soil and groundwater. There's another chapter that talks about assessment of vegetation, aquatic and public health issues, and there's recommendations and Ogoni's pathway to sustainability. So that's essentially what covers the book. And there are a few sections I just want to read for us, you know, that makes you understand how big. And then there was issue of public health, part of the findings that they got. I'll read for you. The Ogoni community is exposed to petroleum hydrocarbons in outdoor air and drinking water, sometimes at elevated concentrations. They are also exposed to dermal contacts from contaminated soil, sediments, and surface water. Listen to this, listen, very important. Of most immediate concern, community members at Nisisioken Ogale, that's in Ogoniland, are drinking water from wells that is contaminated with benzene, a known carcinogen. A carcinogen is a chemical that gives you cancer. You understand? So they are, from the study, their wells where they drink water from is concentrated with benzene. Benzene has seeped in because of this thing, because of the drilling. So a known carcinogen at levels over 900 times above World Health Organization guideline. The report states that this contamination warrants emergency action ahead of all other remediation efforts. This is a recommendation already, that now, they should begin to sort out these wells where these people are drinking water from, because what are they doing? They are killing themselves slowly. So, hydrocarbon contamination was found in water taken from 28 wells at 10 communities adjacent to contaminated sites. At 7 wells, the samples are at least 1,000 times higher than the Nigerian drinking water standard. 1,000 times higher. Local communities are aware of the pollution and its dangers, but state that they continue to use this water for drinking, bathing, washing, and cooking, as they have no alternative. So this is public health issue as a result of drilling and production in Ogoniland. So there are other recommendations. There are some summary of recommendations here. I'll just read one for us here. Listen. The study concludes that the environmental restoration of Ogoniland is possible, but may take 25 to 30 years. The report contains numerous recommendations that, once implemented, will have an immediate and positive impact on Ogoniland. Further recommendations have longer timelines that will bring lasting improvements for Ogoniland and Nigeria as a whole. There are issues about operational recommendations, which I don't even have time to go into it. So this is just like a snapshot of what this whole book is all about. remediation for Ogoniland to come back to its original state is going to take 25 to 30 years if we begin now. But if we do not begin, it will be worse. Because as we speak, pollution is going on. So Ogoniland have said, no more drilling, no more production in this place until something is done. So Jonathan has done the work. We have a document that will help us in remediating Ogoniland. But do we have the will to do it? The oil companies, especially Shell I worked for, were the major people who were producing. And there's a recommendation for what Shell should do. Does the government have the willpower to say, Shell, this is what has been recommended, go ahead and do it? When there was political instability some few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, what happened? They sent Osibanjo to Ogoniland. They did a big fanfare, spent a lot of money to say they were going to inaugurate the environmental, the report. They were going to begin implementation. Till today, it just ended in ceremony. Nothing is going on there. And pollution is going on. People are drinking benzene into their system. The Ogoni people are gradually dying. Read this book. It will tell you a lot of things about pollution of oil and politics in Nigeria. Apart from that political angle, what about the academic angle? This is a report that has been written, serious study. If you are a student of science, this book will tell you how to write a report from a study. If you are a professor or a lecturer in the university, this book will tell you how to present research analysis and how to present it so that it can be readily available and understood. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you environmental assessment of Ogoniland. If you are a Niger Delta, this book must be in your library. It must be in your shelf. It must be in your shelf. This is a historical book. This is a book that everybody must have. If you are in the university, if you are in the regulatory body like DPRO, NAPIMS, this is for you. It's a book you must have. If you are an engineer working in the oil industry, it's a book you must have. If you are a lecturer lecturing petroleum engineering, it's a book that you must have. So I recommend this book for everybody and anybody who cares to know, to have knowledge. You want this book, you go to our website is still under construction, but it will be flomatbooks.com, www.flomatbooks.com. That's our website. It's still under construction. But you can go to our go to our Instagram page. That is Flomat Books by Anthony Akpokene, or Facebook, Flomat Books by Anthony Akpokene. Or you can send us an email to flomatbooks@yahoo.com or anthony.akpokene@gmail.com, or send us WhatsApp to +234 813 64 56 529, and we will reply you promptly. Remember, Environmental Assessment of Ogoniland is a book that must be in your library. Thank you, and God bless you.